My name is Cal. I'm the oldest member of Fairy Tale Farm. I've been on this farm for 55 or 60. Well, I've been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of things come and go, and, there I go, rambling again. Today, I want to tell you a story. It's one of the oldest stories that there is. It's a lot of people have told it, and it's about a girl you probably know as Cinderella. What really happened to this girl? Well, let's find out.
The wife of a rich man got real sick, and when she felt like she was going to die, she called in her only daughter to her bed, and she said, "Always be a good girl, and I will look down from heaven and watch over you." Soon afterward, she passed away, and they buried her in the garden. And a little girl went to her grave every day and cried.
Well, this story is not starting out very good, is it? I'm already crying, and, well, I gotta get a hold of myself. Maybe this will get better, all right? Let's keep reading.
And then the snow began to fall, and then soon it was springtime. And before the sun had even melted the snow, the father had married another wife. And she had 2 daughters of her own.
Oh, well, good. Maybe she'll have some friends that she can play with.
And they was pretty little girls, but they were not very nice and made fun of the other little girls, saying, "What is this little girl doing in here? She needs to go work in the kitchen."
Oh, maybe not. They don't seem so nice, do they?
And so they made her a servant, and she put on a little gray dress and had to work. She was forced to do hard work, getting up early in the morning and bringing the water, making the fire, cooking and washing. Besides that, the sisters would laugh at her and make fun of her day by day.
Well, that is not nice at all. You need to be nice to people and not be rude.
At night, Cinderella did not even have a bed to sleep in, but slept by the fireplace in the ashes. She was always so dusty and dirty from all the ash and cinder that they called her Cinderella.
Well, I am not liking this at all. I would tell them girls they need to straighten up and move over, if you know what I mean.
It happened that the father was going to go to the fair, and he asked his wife's daughters what he should bring them, and they said fine clothes and pearls and diamonds.
Well, those little girls don't need all that. I mean, they just need some food and some clothes and some sticks to play with. I mean, I've been out here on the farm my whole life and working hard, and well, if they want them nice things, they can get them a job. And here I go, just rambling again. Let's keep reading.
He asked his other daughter what she wanted, and she said just the first twig that happens to hit your hat while you're riding through the trees.
Well, that doesn't seem like much of a request. I mean, there are a lot of sticks out here on the farm. I can go get you one right now.
Well, as the father was coming home, the first hazel twig that brushed up against him almost pushed off his hat. So he broke it off and took it with him and gave it to his daughter. As she took it to her mother's grave and planted it there, and she cried so much that her tears watered it and it started to grow.
Well, that makes me kind of sad to think about that little girl just crying, but it's also kind of beautiful, isn't it? The way the tree's growing.
And it grew into a big fine tree. 3 times a day she would go out there and cry, and a little bird came and built a nest in the tree.
Well, now, hey, I don't like this with the birds. Now, see, the birds don't just nest in the tree. They come out in the field and land on me. And I can't just push them off because I've got these hooves and I can't reach up there. But sometimes they laugh at me a little bit. But, maybe this is a little bit nicer bird.
And she would talk to the bird, and the bird kind of watched over her and brought her whatever she wished for. Now it happened that the king of the land had a feast.
Hey, now, I don't know what they're having at that feast, but it better not be no hamburgers or steaks, if you know what I mean.
And Cinderella's 2 sisters were so excited and they wanted to go. They said, "Cinderella, come comb our hair and wash our feet." And
well, why did she got to do all that for you? You could do that yourself.
Cinderella did all that she was supposed to do and came to her mother and said, "Can I please go?" The mother said, "How, Cinderella? You have nothing to wear, no clothes at all, and you cannot even dance."
Well, I know a little something about dancing. I've been known to strike up a jig myself, like a whoop, whoa, whoop. Oh, you didn't expect that, did you? Well, I'll get a little carried away, but you gotta admit, I got some moves.
And the mother said, well, fine, if you can take this pan full of peas and I'll throw them in the ashes, and if you can, in 2 hours' time, pick out all the peas from the ashes, then you can go to the ball.
Well, that just seems real weird. Real weird.
Well, then she threw the peas in the ashes, but Cinderella was able to pick them out because she went to the garden and she cried out to the birds and said, come and help me, come pick, pick, pick. First came 2 white doves, and then next 2 turtle doves, and then a bunch of little birds under heaven came fluttering in and chirping, and they flew into the ashes and picked all the peas. Then Cinderella brought the dish to her mother, and she was so happy she could go to the ball, but her mother said, no, no, you have no clothes and cannot even dance. You will not go.
Well, hey now, she said she could go if she got the peas out of the ashes. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, you need to do it.
But when Cinderella begged very hard to go, the mother said, well, if in an hour's time you can pick 2 whole pans of peas out of the ashes, then you can go.
Yeah, she's just trying to get rid of her.
So Cinderella went and she called out to the birds, and they all came again and picked 2 whole pans of peas out of the ashes and brought them to the mother. But the mother said, it's of no use. You cannot go. You have no clothes, you cannot dance, and you would only put us to shame. So the daughters and the mother went to the ball without Cinderella.
Well, now, that would be the last straw for me. And I like eating straw, but, this stepmother, she's kind of mean. She's always in a mood, if you know what I mean.
And now when they were all gone and nobody at home, Cinderella went out and cried under the tree. She said, shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me. And a bird flew out of the tree and brought a gold and silver dress for her and slippers of silk. She put 'em on and followed her sister to the feast.
Oh, well, I'd like to have me some gold hide and maybe some gold boots. I'd be looking fine in the fields.
But they did not know her. They thought it must be some strange princess, 'cause they did not recognize her. And the prince came and he took her by the hand and they danced together, and no one else knew. But time went on, and all of a sudden she had to go. But the prince said, please take me to where you live. But Cinderella ran off, and she hid in the pigeon house and shut the door. And then the prince came and waited till the father came home and said there was an unknown woman who came here. She'd been at the feast, but she hid. But when they broke open the door, they didn't find nobody. Cinderella had already left and gone back into the house. The bird had brought her gray dress, and she was asleep there by the fireplace. So then the prince left. Well, the next day they held a feast again, and they all went together without Cinderella. But Cinderella went out to the tree, and again she sang, shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me. The bird brought the dress as before, and even finer shoes as before. The prince wanted to dance again. Anytime somebody tried to dance, he said, no, this lady is dancing with me. When night came and it was time to go home, the king's son wanted to go with her, and she said no, and she slipped away. He again tried to find her and told the father that a woman had come there and he'd like to meet her, but they could not find her, and again Cinderella was found in her old gray dress, sleeping by the fireplace.
Well, now, why does she keep running away from him? He seemed like a nice guy.
But now the third day came, and they went to the feast, and Cinderella again went out to the garden and said, shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me. Then her friend the bird brought the dress, and this time slippers of gold. So they went to the feast, and the king's son danced with her again. And when night came, she went to slip away. He determined he was not going to let her get loose this time. But she, in her hurry, accidentally slipped off one of the gold slippers and ran away without it, and there it sat.
Whoa, you better go get that girl. That slipper's probably worth some money.
So the prince took the gold slipper to his father and said, I will take this lady who owns this slipper as my wife. Then both sisters were happy because they thought they could slip into the slipper. Well, the eldest sister went and asked to try on the slipper, but it would not fit. Her big toe would not fit in there.
Well, that seems kind of fitting, 'cause this whole time you've been acting like a big stinky toe, and now you can't get your big stinky toe in the slipper.
Then the mother took her daughter aside and gave her a knife and said, never mind, cut it off.
What? Cut off the big toe? Whoa.
She said, when you're a queen, you won't care about toes. You won't even want to walk. So the silly girl listened to her mother and squeezed her foot in the shoe. And the king's son, the prince, took her for his bride, and they sat on a horse and rode away. But as they passed the tree that Cinderella had planted, the little dove on the tree sang, back again, look to the shoe. This shoe is too small, it's not made for you. Prince, prince, look again for your bride, for she's not the true one that sits by your side. Then the prince got down and looked at her foot, and when he saw it was true, he screamed, and he took her back and said, this is a fake bride, and she has tricked me. So they brought the younger daughter out, but she too could not squeeze her foot into the shoe, all but her heel, which was too big. The mother squeezed and squeezed until she got it in, and it even bled just a little. And the prince set her as his bride and put her on a horse and rode away. But as they came by the tree, the little dove sat there still and sang, back again, look to the shoe. The shoe is too small and not made for you. Prince, prince, look again for your bride, for she's not the true one that sits by your side. Then he looked down and saw the little bit of blood, and he knew he had been tricked, and he took her back. And he said to the father, do you have any other daughters? And he said, no, sir, there is just the little Cinderella, the child of my first wife, and I'm sure she cannot be the bride.
Well, why in tarnation not? I would have thought the daddy would have been on her side, but apparently not even he believes in her.
Then the prince said, you need to send her in. And the mother said, no, she is much too dirty. She will not dare to show herself. However, the prince would have her come, so she washed her face and cleaned her clothes. She came in and curtsied to him and reached down for the golden slipper. Then she took her shoe off the left foot and put on the slipper, and it fit as if it had been made for her. When he came near and looked her in the face, he knew it was her. He said, this is the right bride.
Well, move aside, everybody. The real bride is here.
The mothers and the sisters were angry, but the prince took Cinderella and put her on his horse and rode away with her.
Well, I bet that horse is getting tired of him putting all these women on there. He's probably thinking, what are you doing, fella? Just pick the right woman the first time.
And when they came near the hazel tree, the white dove sang again, home, home, look at the shoe. Princess, the shoe was made for you. Prince, prince, take home your bride, for she is the true one that sits by your side. And when the dove had sung its song, it came a-flying and perched on her shoulder and went home with her. The end.
Well, that story started off kind of sad, but I think it ended well. What do we learn from that story? Well, don't throw peas in the ashes, 'cause that's wasteful and peas are delicious. Make friends with as many magical doves as you can. Don't cut off your big toe to fit into a slipper, no matter how good it looks. Ask more questions before you put ladies up on your horse, and keep going. Keep going, even when times get tough, just like Cinderella did. Keep believing, and be nice. You never know what people are dealing with, so be kind. The end. Remember, if you like our videos, make sure to like and subscribe and share it with your friends.